And hello everybody, welcome to the PWRL Mike&Ike Cup Series as we prepare for Daytona 500 qualifying here and also Daytona 500 practice. Top two speeds today are going to be going to the front row of the Great American Race, and already they're peeling off of pit road. 44 just headed off pit road. That of course is Luke Walker. Let's jump up to that car as he's going to be driving off there. Yep, there he is. Number 44 going to be coming in with the teammate of the 55 this season. See how this team can do. I believe the double zeros in this field as well, and that's another teammate for these guys. But Luke Walker, remember these drivers have to pretty much get up to speed first, so when he comes around and hits the stripe the first time, that's basically when his first full lap will begin. And we'll see what kind of a lap this UPS Toyota can put down. If you don't really know the rules of how it goes for Daytona 500 qualifying, the drivers who come in today at the end of this 15-minute period with the two fastest laps of the day will start on the inside and outside of the front row for the Great American Race. All the rest of the drivers, their spots will be determined by the Gatorade duels that should be taking place later this week. Pretty much the winner of Gatorade duel number 1 starts on the inside of row 2. The winner of Gatorade duel number 2 starts on the outside of row 2. And then wherever you finish determines where you start on either the high side or the low side for the rest of the field from 5th place on back through 42nd. Now Luke Walker's not exactly running a real fast speed here. I'm rather surprised. Running around in the 170s right now is Luke Walker. Let's take a look and see what he does here when he comes down here and hits the stripe. He's now starting to get up to speed here. And he's up now in the 190s, but that was only a 187.446. And it didn't take very long for his spot to be taken atop the leaderboard by Chris Jones. Chris Jones in the 20, now the fastest on the racetrack at this point, with a 191.197. And his teammate actually jumped up there into the second position. Whoa, wait a minute. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. His teammate just jumped up into second there, and that's Riley Ogle in the 11. Well, they're now switching around here. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do is we're going to start from Riley Ogle and go back and introduce you to everybody that's going to be in the 42-car field for the season. Because this top of the leaderboard is going to be changing around for quite a bit. We'll probably come back and check it out with about 9 minutes remaining. So there's Randy Carpenter in the 29 this season for Richard Childress Racing. Behind him is going to be, I think it's Chris Malone. I may be wrong. I'm going to be getting these names right at some point. If I get your name wrong, I apologize. It does take a while to get these names pat down with all the series that I've got running. But nonetheless, 16 running very well. As a matter of fact, just put down the fastest lap now with a 201.050. So a great run right there. Just up ahead, that's Connor Breton in the 42. Currently 19th fastest on the racetrack there for the Chip Ganassi Racing. There's Dillon Young running all by his lonesome, and you can see that's definitely affected his speed. He's 35th quickest on the racetrack. He may have actually just come onto the racetrack because he's running down 128.649. So this actually may be his first actual lap of the day, and that puts him up to 33rd fastest now. There's Dylan Poteet, 38. Oh, excuse me, the 38 on pit road there. There's Joe Davis, 4th fastest right now is Joe. In the number 60, that comes out of Roush Fenway Stables. Then you got Jake Rogers in the 10. Currently 6th fastest on the racetrack. There's Sophie Dillon, she's 10th fastest. This is a big pack of fast race cars right here. Sophie Dillon, 10th fastest. Then there's Kalish Smith, who is 15th fastest on the racetrack. There's JT Teal, Jake Rogers' teammate there from Everham Motorsports. We'll see if those two can maybe hook up there, as he's actually 26th fastest as JT Teal. And then there's Sean Henley, 30th fastest. But I think those two are going to jump up in the top 10 here with this big pack of race cars. Yeah, JT Teal and Sean Henley just jumped to 6th and 8th respectively. And another car that just joined this pack is Brandon Bain. This will certainly help his speeds. And also Seth Cole there in the 25. Both working together right there. as they are in this pack as well. There's a second pack of cars. You got Leo Rogers in the 00, running well right now. Pichu London in the 99. There's the 40 of William Duncan. There's Lance Fogel in the 83, and then the 5 of Anthony Emery. Whoa, my goodness, they're sliding off that corner. Wow, didn't even utilize the inside line there. They were the middle, and upper grooves right there. And there's drivers making some pit stops, trying to make their cars better. There's another car out of the Chip Ganassi stables, the Earnhardt Ganassi stables, I should say. DEI, actually, but Sam Young there in the 01, currently 18th fastest on the racetrack. Right behind him, you got Olga Ogo in the 18. We got both the Joe Gibbs Racing cars doing very well right now. Olga Ogo is actually running those 16th fastest at this point. Right behind her is the 22, that's Rohit Vedaravu. Currently 9th fastest on the racetrack is Rohit. And there's Barney Ward. We were talking about, well, I don't think we were talking about, but I was planning to talk about drivers who were coming in with two-car race teams. And that's what you would get with Haas Automation Racing. As Barney Ward is actually 25th fastest at this point. He is part of a two-car team along with the 66, which we'll see in just a minute. There's Tristan Trivet in the 41, currently 17th fastest on the racetrack, is the car for Chip Ganassi Racing. Then you got Dawson Wise in the 1, just broke into the top 10. He's 10th fastest right now. Then you got Sam Young, he's slipped back here from this pack. Here's another good pack of cars. Kyle Sanofsky right there in the 48, the 55 of of Max Skinner. Then you got Theo Stiegel in the 6. You got Austin Tran in the, or not Austin, I think it's Alan Tran, but I'm getting names mixed up here. But in the 2, nonetheless, the Blue Deuce. And then Austin LaPlante in the 84. There's Jake Rogers returning to the racetrack. There's Noah Hart. So another pack of cars here. Noah Hart in the 43. Richard Johnson in the 8. Oh, there's Olga Ogo making a pit stop. Same with Pichu London. Lots of drivers actually on pit road. There was the 4. We haven't talked about him yet. We'll get to that in a minute. There is Chris Jones, who was out on the racetrack. I think he was third out on the racetrack. And there is also Luke Walker, who was the first car out on the racetrack. Wow, there's a big pack of cars back here of other drivers we haven't talked about. Anthony McCurry in the 07. He's actually 6th fastest right now. Carson Gum in the 17. Dylan Poteet in the 38. Mike Becker in the 45. There's M. Carpenter. I can't remember the first name. Morgan Carpenter, I believe, actually, when I think about it. Austin Ogo in the 15. There's a 16 of Chris Malone. Second fastest on the racetrack is Chris. That would put him on the outside of the front row for the Daytona 500. The fastest on the racetrack is right there. The 11 of Riley Ogle with a 206.940. That's nearly 207 miles per hour right there, the fastest lap of the day. And we are getting close to this race, or not this race, but this practice session ending, as we have only a little over 6 minutes remaining in this. Take a look at another contender for the possible front row, and that's Devin White in the 26. Ran the 3rd fastest lap, and that was a 205.114. Right now, doesn't have anybody he's able to draft with, and is running now around the 190s all by his lonesome. So if he's going to get past his Roush Fenway teammate, Chris Malone, for that 2nd spot in the Great American Race, he's got to step it up a notch here. There's Dillon Poteet. You know, there was a big problem for Poteet. There was a possibility that Poteet and Sean Henley for Robert Yates Racing weren't going to be teammates, and they wanted to be teammates there, and with Sean Henley in the 88 and Poteet in the 38. They finally did find a 38 ride for Poteet to be able to be a teammate with Sean Henley, but right now, not running the best laps of his life. Currently 40th fastest is Dillon Poteet. Let's see if he can step it up here on this lap. No, 199.650 for Poteet. He's not running very well, not running very fast laps at this point in the Quality Care Ford. There's Seth Cole. 28th fastest is the 25 car. A lot of big names running down at the bottom of the list. Whoa, 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 is someone wrecking? Someone spun. Oh, look out! Whoa, and that was Chris Jones. Chris Jones spins it around here in the 20. I think Anthony Emery may have gotten a piece of it too. I don't know. Luckily, everybody else was able to miss that. Let's find Anthony Emery. Oh, before we do that, there's a driver we haven't talked about yet today, Evan Gattuso in the State Water Heaters Ford. Or, not Ford, but the Ford car. That's the Chevy Impala. So he's going to get passed here by Austin LaPlante. Currently 42nd fastest is Evan Gattuso. That's not good for that team. Dillon Young peeling off the racetrack there, or else he was just coming back on. He's 37th fastest is Dillon Young. There's a lot of drivers not running very well here in this practice session. There's Anthony Emery. I think he was able to get through that, but Emery is only 39th fastest on the racetrack, so getting a piece of that wreck with the spinning Chris Jones certainly did not help him at all. He's running around in the 196s right now. There is Chris Jones, 15th fastest on the racetrack too, and what a tough break right there for Chris Jones. As a matter of fact, why don't we take a look back at a replay of what happened to Chris Jones? Here's a look at it. Chris Jones, how's he going to get his help? Because we got... Oh, let's see. Does he actually come up into Luke Walker? I think he might. Yeah, his car slides up into Luke Walker. That turns him up to the fence. Walker probably would have had to come down to pit road and get those right side tires changed. And oh, Sophie Dillon kind of runs into the back of Luke Walker a little bit there. And then we saw Chris Jones come down the racetrack in front of a whole host of race cars there, a big pack of cars. You'll see that pack of cars coming in right side of your screen. This Chris Jones car is going to come and slide down to the apron. And at least it was a fairly mild wreck there. And look at Anthony Emery. Oh, man, he just barely got his car up to the high side to be able to avoid Chris Jones. That could have been absolutely terrible for the 5 team. But Luke Walker does have a little bit of damage from that after he was up there scraping the wall, and Chris Jones as well. So let's go back now to live action. And there is Chris Jones. He's actually gotten his car back onto the racetrack and continued on. But the leaderboard still looks the same. Riley Ogle is still the fastest on track, with Chris Malone in second. Both those drivers, the only two to hit the 206 mile per hour mark. 26th of Devin White is in the 3rd position right now, but certainly needs to step it up at least 1 mile per hour more in order to pass teammate Chris Malone for the top spot. Or not the top spot, but the 2nd spot for the Great American Race, the outside of the front row. So we continue to watch Riley Ogle. Now let's remember, Riley Ogle, along with Chris Malone, they are going to have to start in the Gatorade duels. And whoa! No! No! My goodness! Just like that, the fastest car in practice gets wrecked. Oh my. Now he has to not retire. If Riley Ogle retires here and goes to a backup car, then Riley Ogle will lose the pole position for the Daytona 500 with about 20 seconds remaining. We've got to follow this. If Riley Ogle goes to a backup car here, that means that Chris Malone would start on the front row. Second would be his teammate Devin White. It'd be an all-Roush Fenway front row. Will Riley Ogle go to a backup car here? Let's see. They've got to just get the car repaired, get it back on the racetrack. He's going to a backup car! With just about... No, there wasn't any seconds remaining. He did it right at the end of the session. What a costly move for Riley Ogle. There is your pole sitter for the Daytona 500, Chris Malone. It'll be an all-Roush Fenway front row. Malone will start on the pole for the Great American Race. Devin White, the teammate of the 16, will start on the outside of the front row. What a costly mistake, a costly move for Riley Ogle. That has to be one of the strangest things I've ever seen, and this session is over. But Riley Ogle would have been the pole sitter if he did not go to a backup car. If he had just sat on pit road there with a damaged race car, he still would have been in this thing. Would have still been the pole sitter. And the race is over, the practice session is over, and the guy who's atop the practice standings right now is not going to start on the front row for the Great American Race. It's going to be Chris Malone in the 16 on the pole, and Devin White will start in second on the outside of the front row. Oh my. It will be an all-Ford, an all-Roush Fenway front row for the Great American Race. You can take a look here at where everybody finished. Take a look at the names down there, still at the bottom of the pack there. Brandon Bain, 32nd. Dillon Young was 34th. Seth Cole, 35th. William Duncan was 39th. Leo Rogers, 40th. Evan Gattuso never even broke into the 200s with that 4 car. That's a tough break for him. But everybody's going to be in the Gatorade duels. Now the pressure's on Chris Malone and Devin White to stay out of trouble in their respective Gatorade duels. And Riley Ogle, what a tough break right there. A wreck. I think it was just about 1.5 minutes remaining in the practice session, and with just about 1 second remaining in the practice session, Riley Ogle retired from this practice session, going to a backup car, and that's going to remove him from the front row, the pole for the Great American Race. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed today's race. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you for the Gatorade duels, which will be coming out later this week. You've been watching the PWRL Mike and Ike Cup Series here in the Pro World Racing League, where real racing happens. See you guys later.